I can't tell you how proud we are in Pulaski County to have this man sitting as president of the Kentucky Farm Bureau. So, Mr. President, thank you for your service. We're proud of you. It's a delight to be with you. I wish we had a little bit better weather out there, but a little rain is probably good for us. It's a delight always to be with the Kentucky Farm Bureau at this breakfast every year. I've enjoyed each one of the 40 that I've had a chance to be with you at. How many of you have been here to this meeting in the last 40 years? How many have been here when we first started the 40th year? Anybody? Anyone? Yeah? Yeah? Anyone? Anyone? Huh? Yeah, right here. Well, it's been a pleasure. The way this thing always works, the president introduces the Kentucky House delegation by seniority. So when I first came, of course, I was dead last in that pecking order, and the last to speak out of the, at that time, 7 members of the House. So by the time it got down to lowly freshman Hal Rogers, everything had been said by the previous speakers. So I'm going to be fairly brief with you here because I appreciate the fact that others are coming later that have lesser seniority who have a lot to say. Brett, that includes you. But it's always a pleasure being with you on this early morning. I want to mention to you a couple of things that that's been referred to already, the broadband. I went to the first Governor Beshear and began the process of trying to convince him to take on a statewide broadband, high-capacity, high-speed broadband to every county in Kentucky. Well, that's a lot to be done. That's a very big and complex undertaking. But we agreed and started to do that. I became convinced that in my part of Kentucky, in the Appalachian part of Kentucky, the broadband is probably our salvation economically. And so we've been working on that now for these years. It's called Kentucky Wired. It's already operating in about a third of the counties, and it's on the way toward completion. It will mean, I think, economic advantages that we've never known before. This is the first state in the Union that's attempting to put in place a statewide network financed privately, but under state control, in essence. And it's beginning to pay off. We've got several hundred now jobs in some of the smaller communities in Appalachia that's working through the internet, broadband, many of them from their own homes, many of them disabled people that are able to work the phones and work the internet. So it's an opportunity for us that particularly in rural Kentucky, in farm country, this will make things so much more easy, but I think a lot more profitable with your time. So, Mr. Exec, we're with you. We appreciate your focus on the broadband. We appreciate the focus of the Kentucky Farm Bureau on broadband. And we want to encourage you to go further. Now, I was very, very pleased when the administration began to rewrite NAFTA, the trade agreement but in our own hemisphere, and very excited when it came to fruition. The writing of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Trade Agreement, USMCA, which is now in place. Final approval from the Canadian government will come next month. But once it's completely finalized, it's expected to increase American agricultural exports by $2 billion and provide new market access for American dairy and poultry products. Also, we're very excited about the possibilities of a new trade agreement with China. Phase 1 of that deal, signed last month, will require China to buy at least $200 billion more in U.S. products than it did in 2017. So those two developments in trade could mean very exciting possibilities for Kentucky farmers to export your products. And I salute the administration for reaching those striking deals.